And welcome back in our continuing coverage of the Carson Midway Fire. We have multiple News 5 crews fanned out across the area, basically on the perimeter. Obviously, they move many times as we continue to watch this massive grass fire burn acre after acre. Again, it seems to be moving closer and closer to I-25. There is a massive mandatory evacuation area right now. That's a vantage point where our Sam Kramer is right now. Let's check back in with Sam. Give us an update on what you're seeing and hearing, Sam.
Yeah, Rob, just as we hit the commercial break there, it seems like this fire just hit even more fresh fuels. You can see right now, this is a heavy plume of smoke. There's some black and some white, so that means some lighter fuels and a mix of some medium to heavy fuels as well. And really just kind of what we've seen all afternoon. This fire just continues to push to the east, fueled by those winds, just chewing up, like you said, acre after acre of these dry fuels. But as soon as, you think it's just about to simmer down in one spot, just like that, it touches some new fuel, and just as we are, getting a pretty good visual of right now, fresh smoke, fresh fuel, and it just continues to grow. We've been kind of keeping an eye out in the area right now. There were about 3 to 5 helicopters, dropping water over this, but since this specific spot has started to burn, I haven't seen any over it right now. So we're going to continue to monitor things. Again, this, just as we've seen really all afternoon, continues to push east and burn up more and more and more. So we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
And Sam, you were there early on with that command post with Hanover. Obviously you had to move. What was the mood in the command post there as this was starting to blow up?
Yeah, as you could imagine, it was very, very emotional, very fast-paced. We had a thick plume of black smoke coming over the ridge for about an hour, and so we really didn't know just where those flames were. We had to talk with some firefighters with Hanover, and then just volunteers who are away from their homes and just doing whatever they can to help. As you can see, some new flames there. It's a very intense situation. These are very dynamic situations. There's thousands, more than, as we said earlier, about 1 o'clock, 1,200 acres at least at that point. It has to be more than that now, but there's so much ground that they have to cover in terms of people, in terms of animal, in terms of residences. So you can imagine the emotions that they were having to deal with. Now, when we saw the flames come over the ridge earlier at that incident command post, we had spoken with firefighters earlier. They told us they were going to move the incident command post over to the Pikes Peak International Raceway. If that happened, as soon as that happened, everybody jumped in their trucks and headed off. So very intense situation, as you would imagine, but safety, obviously, the top priority.
Yeah, we can see there behind you thick brown smoke, and again, moving ever closer to I-25. Sam Kramer, a great look there at the intensity and the scope of that grass fire right now.
And as we were talking about the helicopter support, a reminder to not fly drones in the area to try and get pictures, personal pictures and what have you, because that can hinder their efforts as well. They cannot be flying when there are drones around. That's a major safety issue. And again, as we said, it's inching close at I-25. Please don't pull over on the interstate to get a vantage point of this. They don't need looky-loos. The fewer people there are in this area where there are so many law enforcement and first responders, the better. They have a serious job to do, like you mentioned with the drones, but basically they want to get as many people out of the way so they can move vehicles and personnel as need be as quickly as possible, because as we've seen, this thing is not dying down. We're still seeing those strong winds push this fire. As Mike mentioned, maybe by 7 or 8 o'clock tonight we'll finally see some lessening of the winds, but that low humidity, the combination is just the worst, which our weather team has been documenting all day and frankly for the last couple of months, because it's just been the same scenario day in and day out, week in and week out. Right, and even